And what I'm going to share with you today is some work that me and my team have done, or created, if you like, a model for team resilience from some of the research that we've done around the country with teams. And my colleagues listed on the slide there, Laura Cook, Emma Ward and Julian Schofield would be part of that research. So I'm going to run through what these are and how you can how they can be helpful for developing resilient teams at work today. So just to put it in context a little bit, I'm sure you're very familiar with a lot of wellbeing materials and help out there to help individuals at work, help them build coping strategies, and that's all very helpful. What we found in our work is there's less available to help with team dynamics and team resilience as well. So this is where we sort of fill a bit of a gap, if you like. But before I go any further, I'd really like you to share with us what you think an effective team looks like. Okay, so got some great ideas coming through. So I'm going to stop sharing the slides, but I will share the word cloud that's been created from your comments. Okay, so you should see what you've contributed coming up on your screen now, and you can see here that things like trust and communication are really common thoughts amongst you as to what makes a good team, and we've got lots of other ideas out there around looking out for each other, respect, transparency, being supportive, collaboration, pulling together, a bit of honesty, transparency, and so on. So lots of great ideas coming through here, and I think one of the reasons we do this is so that you can see that actually what you think makes an effective team quite often maps well onto this model. This model can help managers as well justify the importance of good relationships and the importance of building good relationships to have trust, because that improves communication. And very often these soft skills are maybe not valued quite as much further up the organisation you go. So in terms of the research, just bringing us up to date, again, these issues will be familiar to all of us, but just setting a little bit of context around the workplace emotional climate. In terms of Public Health England tracking of sick days, millions of days lost through work-related stress, depression or anxiety. So these are significant issues for organisations and do have an impact on the bottom line. Also, many people take sickness absence due to conflict, which is very often a breakdown of communication, and that has a cost to organisations. So team trust, psychological safety and social cohesion are also important for team performance. So not only the absence aspect, but for the actual competence at work aspect as well. So effective teams research also supports that high quality relationships at work enhance job performance. They also enhance learning, our ability to engage in learning and being open to learning, our ability to detect errors, but also to highlight those as well. And a good relational climate at work includes shared goals, shared knowledge, and mutual respect. And we'll come back to that in the model. Alongside shared values, that's shared work values, effective bonds and empathy. Leaders are particularly important in role modelling a good relational climate, and this model can be really helpful for helping us as leaders think about what we can do to create this and build this. So building trust is an absolute foundation for good quality and high quality relationships, and our model proposes the 5 most important domains for building trust. So here's the framework or the model. It has 5 domains or dimensions, if you like, and they do interlink, they do affect each other. I'm going to sort of talk through these 5 domains today. So we've got availability, which helps build trust, sensitivity around the regulation of difficult feelings, acceptance is around the blame game aspect, so being non-judgmental and supporting people through when things go wrong to help build confidence, cooperation to encourage people to work together well without taking away their autonomy or independent working, and then team membership to build a sense of belonging as well. So this is the framework. Just before we get into talking about each of these domains, this is a model that's built from a couple of theories, if you like, the main one being attachment theory. So in case you're not familiar with attachment theory, this is just giving a very bare bones description of secure base. So secure base is one element of attachment theory. So secure base relationships provide a psychological safe haven, reassurance and affirmation when life is stressful or pressured, or when at work we're encountering something difficult that makes us anxious or stressed. So providing that safe haven is one element, because that can help reduce anxiety. And if we can reduce anxiety, then that means people then are able to re-engage with work. When we're anxious, we become quite closed in and very inward looking and closed off to anything new until we kind of sort out that uncertainty and concern. So it has a big impact. Anxiety has a big impact on performance. And both children and adults are more likely to reach their full potential when supported by secure base relationships. So if you look at attachment theory after this webinar, you'll find that it was built from research with carers and children, and it was created in kind of 1940s, 1950s. But more recent work has been looking at the benefits for adults as well, and we're applying it in the workplace here. So the value of secure-based relationships at work is that work can be emotionally demanding, particularly in kind of quite high stakes professions. So we've worked with social workers, teachers, police, immigration lawyers, just to give you a little example of work which engages with people who are facing very significant issues in their lives, sometimes dealing with life-threatening issues as well. So that creates emotional demands, what we call emotional demands. So there is going to be anxiety and stress, that's to be expected. Manager supervisor can provide a secure base relationship which reduces colleagues' anxiety to help re-engage them with work. So elements of secure base relationships can be helpfully promoted within the team as well. So it's not just down to the supervisor or the leader. And the organisation can also act as a secure base for senior staff, senior managers, who also need to trust that support is there when needed. So if any of you are managers or leaders, you will be very aware that as we move up the organisation, we become slightly more isolated in many ways, because we have many more eyes expecting us to sort things out, and quite a lot of high stakes sort of pressures on us as well. So the organisation needs to think about this, not just managers and teams. So we've built this as a framework, so it's not reality, it just provides a helpful way of thinking about these issues. It builds on existing good management practice, and the aim of it is to, of course, reduce anxiety at work, but the main aim is to enhance competence to produce better work outcomes. If you deal with difficult feelings, then it will have a good impact on performance. So we'll first have a look at the domain of availability, and we're going to have a look at the needs of the team and the role of the manager for each of the domains. So this is around the needs of the team. If we look at this first, so people need to know that their manager or supervisor is physically and emotionally available to provide support when needed. Now, this doesn't mean 24/7 support, and the type of support we're talking about here is when people are facing something really very, very stressful, not the day-to-day stuff necessarily. And that if the manager supervisor isn't available, that there's a reliable substitute that's readily available in times of need, and that people know how to reach these people. And colleagues need to know that they are supported to work independently and to develop as a professional. And if these needs are met, colleagues will have what we call an internal mental model of how the world works or in work. And if these needs are met, they'll have this mental model that people are there for me. If I need people, I know who to contact and know how to get in touch with them. And the role of managers to create this belief, if you like, is to provide both structured and informal availability. So the structured availability is around regular team meetings. People know that they're going to happen at a particular time. They might be weekly, they might be monthly, but they know that there's a rhythm to those structured types of availability. They might be around structured one-to-ones, that kind of supervision arrangements. So that's the structured form of availability. But it's also important to pay attention to informal availability. Now, before hybrid working, this used to be the kind of bumping into people in the corridors at work or in the tea room, and those are really important opportunities to try and recreate in the hybrid environment. A lot of workplaces have created WhatsApp chat groups or Teams chats for particular functions, and those can be an area. Quite often there might be a Teams chat for more informal chatting that people can engage in. And in this hybrid working environment, we need to pay more attention to thinking how we can create opportunities for colleagues to meet, to have those more informal chats and get to know each other, really, because it makes a big difference in if we know people, we're much more likely to be interested and curious in their lives and what's affecting them and what's affecting their work, as opposed to an anonymous name on a screen. Managers here keep the team in mind. So they know their colleagues, they know who they are, what their knowledge and skills are, what their strengths are, what the development areas might be, what might be going on in their personal lives that might be affecting work, not in an intrusive way, but in a sort of supportive way. We need to be, as managers, approachable and to communicate openly and honestly. The approachable aspect is quite interesting. So we're all incredibly busy nowadays, and it's useful to have a think about what approachable might look like in your teams. So I work a lot with students, for example. I have a lot of advisees, students that I'm teaching, and they'll see me in the corridors of the university. And if I'm charging along quite quickly with a frown on my face, with lots of papers under my arm, they tell me they don't want to interrupt me because they think, oh, she looks terribly busy, I won't bother her with my issues. So we need to think about how we're presenting when we're engaging with our team in a way that encourages engagement. And managers also need to respond to colleagues reliably and consistently. So this is the trying to avoid creating an impression that we might have favourites or in meetings or whatever, we might engage with some people more than others, or so it's thinking about how we engage with people as well. The benefits of thinking about availability or boundaried availability is that employees can then trust in the availability of us, so therefore our anxiety can be contained. Colleagues can feel reassured, which makes them more able to think, regulate feelings and act calmly. And then they're less likely to turn inappropriately to others to reduce anxiety. Perfectly natural for us to talk to colleagues when we're anxious, and that's absolutely fine. But when anxiety is, like severe anxiety, is not regulated, then it can spill over and impact other colleagues' work as well. And then we'll feel more confident to work independently, engage with learning and develop as well. Lots of ways, there's an awful lot we can talk about in relation to how to boundary our availability, and we do run workshops to help teams work through this as well. Okay, so Whistle stop tour. Next domain is about sensitivity and management of feelings, regulating our emotions and the emotions of team members. So the challenges of managing feelings in teams are that in a work environment, feelings are very often suppressed. It's not seen as professional to express our feelings at work. And very often the roles that we're in come with an expectation of being in control. So lots and lots of norms around how feelings are expressed at work or not. Sometimes, however, some colleagues might overexpress feelings when they're feeling stressed, and that can be overwhelming both for the individual and the team. Or feelings can be expressed through anxiety or sickness. They can take a kind of physical form. And sometimes difficult feelings can be transferred to other team members or the team manager. If you start getting lots of it's all your fault or that person's a problem, that's quite often a sign that there are issues that are not being dealt with, and these are being transferred. A scapegoat is being looked for to help deal with these issues. So the needs of the team for this domain is that we need to have an opportunity to express our feelings and have them acknowledged and accepted. That doesn't mean that we have to agree with the feelings that people are expressing or agree that they're justified necessarily, but we do need to acknowledge that someone is feeling that way and that they can feel that way. We all have a right to have our feelings. So acknowledging these is the first really important issue, not dismissing them. And then once that's happened, we can work with people to help them make sense of what's going on. Why are we feeling that way? Why does it feel so intense? Get a little sense of what the context, and that can help people work through the rationality or irrationality of what they're experiencing. The team also needs to have help or support to think about the feeling of the thinking and feeling of clients. So if you're in a job, it's rare that you're in a job that doesn't deal with people really, but in jobs that deal with people who are vulnerable, especially, it's really helpful to think about how our thinking and feelings might be impacting our clients' thinking and feelings. So it's around emotional intelligence and being aware of our own feelings and how to manage ours, as well as being aware of other people's feelings and thinking about how to help regulate their feelings as well. So the role of managers here is to create an internal belief that my feelings are manageable and I can cope. And the ways that they can do this are to have an awareness of the thinking and feeling of team members in their team, and have an awareness of how the interactions are between team members. Are we spotting any difficult misunderstandings between team members, possible conflict points that could build up? So just having a sensitivity to those types of issues and being able to intervene. We can use supervision, we can use one-to-ones to help colleagues reflect on their thinking and feeling and reflect on their interactions with clients or service users, and how those clients and service users might be expressing and making sense of their feelings as well. And we can use supervision also to just focus on clients' thoughts and feelings specifically, making sense of those. So the benefits of this particular domain are that it's not unusual to need support to think through difficult situations from different perspectives. That's a really helpful thing to do. And if we're able to make sense of our feelings in difficult situations, we will feel less stressed. It won't feel as big an issue because we'll have shared it with someone else, will have understood what's going on a little bit better and able to make sense of it. And also employees will be more reflective and more sensitive and responsive to clients if they're able to have support in regulating their own feelings. And ultimately difficult feelings will then be less likely to spill over inappropriately into the team. So that's sensitivity. Acceptance. This domain is around building confidence that we can talk about both difficult issues, but also when things go wrong and not be blamed, essentially. So the needs of the team here are that we want to, most people at work want to do a good job, and we want to feel like our contributions are recognised and valued. It's quite an existential type thing. We want to know that we exist and that we are of value. So it helps we want to sort of recognise and enjoy the success of the team and the service when appropriate. And we also want to be open to reflection on setbacks. We want to think about if something went wrong, how could that be different? How could it be better next time? What could we learn so that we can improve our practice and learn new skills sometimes as well. So the role of managers here is accepting the whole person unconditionally for who they are. So if someone does something wrong, we don't think they're a stupid person. We accept that they're a worthwhile person. What happened that they were engaged with, we would prefer not to happen, but we can examine that to see what could be better next time, prevented, but not in a way that belittles the person who was involved. We can offer opportunities to promote and celebrate success, both at an individual, a team level, or service level. And we can support team members through difficulties and setbacks. And this domain links with something called psychological safety. You may have come across this concept where people feel safe enough to talk about when things go wrong. They don't feel as if they're going to be blamed. They don't feel as if they're going to be humiliated. So creating that psychological safety is really important in this domain, so that people have an internal working belief of, I feel competent, but it's also okay to be vulnerable. It's not a bad thing. The world won't end if I do something wrong, and it's okay for me not to be seen as strong and capable all of the time, because that's unrealistic. So the benefits of this domain are that it has big impacts on job satisfaction and retention. Colleagues are more ready to reflect on mistakes and learn from them. And good self-esteem is an important aspect of resilience as well. So it will improve individuals' resilience, the capacity to bounce back after adversity or when things go wrong, or to face new challenges with confidence. And overall, better quality outcomes for clients as well. So moving on to the fourth dimension, which is cooperation, how to work well with others, effectively, constructively with others. So the needs of the team here are to have a sense of working together with the manager or supervisor and team members to achieve shared goals. It's a recognition that the whole point of being in teams is that we gain from the strengths of the individual, the knowledge, the skills of individual team members, so that working together creates a better outcome, creates a better service, and so on, than we could create ourselves alone. Other needs of the team are to have a degree of choice and influence over events and decisions that affect team members as well. So the role of the managers here is to provide opportunities for team members to be heard, to have an opportunity to exercise choice and agency, especially during times of change. Now, we can't offer this all of the time for every decision that gets made, but it is important to have some opportunity for team members to engage in decision making and have a sense of choice and agency. So managers can enable team members to develop different complementary skills and roles to strengthen the team. So having an awareness of what our skills and knowledge are within the team and where we can develop knowledge is really helpful. And also promote a sense of shared goals and team achievements. So every now and again, so this is where away days quite often come into play. We very often revisit, why are we here? What are we doing? Do we need to change our goals? And objectives, that kind of thing. Do we work on a particular goal or objective that seems to be not working so well? And that can be a really good way of including team members in creating shared goals. And so the domain here, managers, we're trying to create a sense that team members, I can work independently, but I can also work with others to find solutions. It doesn't have to be an either or, I can do both. And the benefits of the cooperation domain are that we can help promote individual sense of self-efficacy and competence. We can achieve things on our own, but we can also achieve things with others. Individuals will feel more effective and empowered if they're better able to negotiate and work cooperatively with colleagues and other organisations and clients. So a lot of the work around creating shared goals or running team meetings in a way where different members might contribute to share their knowledge and skills, or you might have a little bit of a debate about something, is it improves the skills of negotiation and compromise, and a recognition that quite often for decisions there's no one right or wrong answer, and a number of different ways forward could work, but we need to find ways to agree what those are between us. So collaborative working and decision making as appropriate enables complementary talents and skills to be brought together to solve problems. And if that's done on a regular basis, then that becomes a kind of way of working, the way we do things around here, part of the team culture. And then the final domain is around creating a sense of belonging. So how do you encourage people to feel that they're actually part of the team? So the needs of the team here are that there is a recognisable team culture and professional identity, that they feel a sense of solidarity and support for each other, and that they know what the shared goals and work values are, and they've been part of creating those, which we talked about a moment ago. So managers here can lead, coordinate, or promote a sense of belonging as part of the team. Key sort of touch points here are around new people coming into the team and inducting them into the way the team works, but also recognising and celebrating the contribution of team members when they leave as well, and encouraging a sharing of what that team member has contributed to the work. So careful thought about induction. Induction are very often can, with busyness, very often be seen as a kind of, right, you've been here a week, that's it, you're off and running kind of thing. But induction, I think, usually takes at least a year to get into the swing of a new organisation and a new team. So thinking about what happens over the year that new members might need support with can be helpful. Acknowledging the different roles in the team, so ensuring that the sharing of the different knowledge and skills on a regular basis can really help induct new people to knowing what different team members do. Managing change is another big aspect which can really unsettle teams, because very often there's a quick turnaround of members leaving, new members starting, or an entirely new team being created as well. So thought around how to manage that and maybe create a new team culture, but also around celebrating diversity. So diversity is a useful thing for us to have at work. It brings with it not only knowledge and skills to the work, but also different life experiences on the basis of gender, ethnicity, disability, and so on, which are really helpful, particularly thinking about the services and the products that are being produced. So if managers can create a sense of belonging in a team, team members will have an internal belief that I'm valued and belong within my team, both as a person and as a professional.